Welcome to Top Boxing, the channel you come to for the other perspective. We are talking today about WBA interim champ Trevor the Dream Bryan, a gentleman that's been in the game for some time. I came up on him a few years ago. I think by that time, I think by now he would have been in the running or have had some great fights already with some great champions. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened just yet. He's 20-0, 0 losses and 0 draws, and it has a few decent fights. Castillo being one, and Hodge being another. But he has a number of journeymen in his resume as well. He's 6'4", 79 inches for a reach, orthodox fighter. Again, interim WBA champ. Was considered for the Joshua fight, from what I understand. His trainer, Stacy McKinley, tells a story about that whole situation involving Andy Ruiz and Joshua. Supposedly his name was in the hat as well for that fight. But we now know that his handlers went a different route. Not sure if it's because of his skills or his appeal, but I like to think it was because of his appeal. Andy being a Mexican American, Hispanic, and they wanted to fill the mecca of boxing. And they wanted to get to pack it in. I don't know if that many people know of Trevor Bryan, so that may have been the reason. We now know that was a mistake, because when I look at it, I think Trevor Bryan, more like a Dillian White, a Parker, someone that's going to be in front of you. Maybe not as great of a boxer as a Parker, but he's pretty decent. He's got good footwork. He's got great upper body movement. He has a nice jab. He's 30, same age as Joshua. Many of the other heavyweights 10 or older. So there is some upside to him. But I do think 2020, 2021, a make or break years for him. As a heavyweight, you enter your prime. You want to be making the bigger fights. You want to be getting into those fights somewhere around, I think, anywhere between 28, 30, 31. You don't want to be looking for these fights and can't get them. So in that aspect, I think this is something he needs to be shooting for. He needs to be knocking on those doors, speaking to his handlers, anything he can to try to get this fight on. So it is what it is at this point. He's going to be the fighter that he is. So there's no more soft touches for him, I think. I think he's got to get out there and just put himself out there and be okay with that. He's been known to be into great sparring sessions. He's been in there with Stavern. He's been in there with Big Bibby Miller. There's footage of Big Bibby Miller ones on YouTube as well. He holds his own. So he's more of a boxer than a puncher. I mean, he's got some knockouts. 3 of his last fights have been knockouts. But I don't see him as knockout artist. But he does have a little power. He's one of those guys that like to touch you with the jab and kind of lull you to sleep. But he could be dangerous at that level. It's kind of soft around the midsection, something he definitely needs to work on. But I do think he's been getting better lately. I used to think he was baby fat, but this man is 30 now. So we may be long past the baby fat. To me, I think he's got some good years ahead of him still. Saw him as far back as 2012, and he has gotten better. From what his trainer said, he's been in the talks to fight with the likes of the Brazils, the Millers of the world. I think at least for 2020, he should at least be trying to get into those B-level fights, the Brazils, the Millers. Tyson Fury had put his name out there one time back in October. I think he opted to fight out of Wallin. That didn't work out for him, I don't think. He won, but he hurt. So, but that might be a great fight for him as well. I'm working on under the assumption that Deontay Wilder knocks out Wilder, and him needing a name on his resume to bounce back, and Trevor Bryan would be a great win on his resume if that was to happen. Now, on the other hand, should should Fury win, I don't think that happens because then he'll be looking for the likes of I don't know if he'll be looking for the likes of Joshua and Ortiz, but he'll definitely be out there. Matter of fact, that's a great fight for Bryan. Ortiz would be a great fight for him. And one time with Boogeyman in the heavyweight division. If you want to make a name and put yourself out there for a big fight, I think that's a great fight for him. Ortiz is not. He's had two huge losses to Wilder. They're probably taking a little bit out of him. He could either be down on himself or he could be real hungry. Let's hope he's down on himself a little bit. He's got great skills. Southpaw fighter. That would be a great way to show his skill, his boxing skills. So I would, if I was to advise him, I would tell him to try and make something like that. If none of these other guys would get in with you, Ortiz seemed to be the kind of guy that will fight anybody. As far as things in his game, I would probably try to fix. I would say work on your body, work on that midsection, work on that. He knocked out Hodge with a hell of a left hook. I would say work on that overhand right, and sharpen up that jab, make it a little bit more sharp. But other than that, it is already a great jab. So there's different type of jabs. Sometimes he throws the same types of jab. I say vary your jabs, things like that. But other than that, I think 2020, in my mind, looks good for this gentleman, and hopefully it works out for him. Love to see what he does next. There's quite a few fights it seems to be trying to work out. So, again, thanks for stopping by Top Boxing. I hope you enjoyed yourself here. Please like and subscribe, comment. Thanks again.